Hello everyone and welcome to episode 15 of the EarthtonesGirl podcast. My name is Denise and I'm coming to you today from my home in Yonkers, New York, where I live with my husband and our two children. You can find me on the internet as EarthtonesGirl. I'm most active on Instagram. I am also on Ravelry, and the podcast now has a Ravelry group, which I'm very excited about. We also have an email address, which is earthtonesgirl@gmail.com. So welcome back to returning viewers. I'm so happy that you've decided to spend some time with me today, and to any new viewers, there are quite a few of you that have decided to subscribe and spend time with me, every week, every 2 weeks, and I am so excited about that. I cannot believe this podcast has expanded. The community for surrounding this podcast has expanded so much in a very short amount of time, and I'm tickled pink. That was not planned. I'm just so excited and so delighted to have you all here. So if you are new, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you do, please leave a comment below. I love hearing from you. Hit the thumbs up button. Please subscribe so that you'll be notified whenever new episodes are released. So welcome everyone. I hope everyone's had a really good week. This is the third week in a row that I will be publishing an episode. 2 weeks ago was episode 14. 2 weeks ago Monday, and then last Monday was the mitten tutorial release that finally has happened. We're going to talk about that a little more in a bit, and here we are again. And I really wanted to get an episode in to talk to you all about our upcoming summer Mitten KAL. There's a lot of information there to share with you. And I have a finished object. I actually have 2 finished objects for you, but I might save one for later. We'll see. Let's see how much time we have. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Mitten KAL, and that is going to be Rachel. Let's start it. Let's start again. Rachel of Treehouse Knits. That's much better. Rachel of Treehouse Knits and I will be hosting a summer mitten knit along that will be starting on June 1st, and it's going to run through the end of July to July 31st. We are very excited about that. If you've been watching the podcast for a while, and if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I have become slightly obsessed with knitting mittens, and I'm a little obsessed with knitting, period. It just gets me so excited, and so many of you commented recently about my enthusiasm being rather infectious, and that makes me very happy to hear. This is not something that I just put on for the podcast. I really do get this excited about knitting, and I will stay up until all hours to finish a project. I will stress over matching colors. I really love this, and I'm so happy, as I've said many times, to have this space, this place to share all of that with you. So back to the Mitten KAL. Rachel also has a podcast, which is Treehouse Knits, and her last episode, I believe that was published last week, has a lot of the KAL information there as well. Both of our Ravelry groups have chatter threads that are now open, so please feel free to join the group. Get in there, start talking about your patterns, what patterns you want to be working on, yarn selections and things, and that's really what I want to focus on today. And I'm so happy also that I was able to get the mitten tutorial video done. That way you kind of have that as a little hand holder as we start this KAL, and I'm really excited. So in the chatter threads, I have yet to put one up in mine, which I'm hopefully going to do in the next day or so, but I know that Rachel's done it already. She has put up a bundle, and what that is, I believe it's in the chatter thread, and what that is just she's put up a sampling of pattern options for you. So we've gone through a lot of different patterns and started we've looked at a couple of different patterns in different yarn weights and things like that we just wanted to share with you. So that bundle is in Rachel's Ravelry group, and I'm going to put one in mine as well. I'm also going to talk about some pattern options here. There are 3 patterns that I'm hoping to get done. That may be way too ambitious. I'm definitely aiming for 2. Like I said, 3 may be a little bit too much, but you never know. And Rachel and I are we're kicking the KAL off with one particular pattern that she and I are both going to be knitting together. So I will talk about that in a moment. There's a lot that I want to remember to say. That's why I'm kind of glancing down at my notes. I hope that's not too distracting for you. Okay, so I am going, one of the things I really want to talk about is people feel really intimidated about knitting color work, period. Whether it's in a sweater, it's in mittens, socks, hat, whatever it is. There's something about 2 strands going at once that I know intimidates some people, and I really don't want people to feel nervous about this in any way. I want you to jump in. It's an adventure. It's knitting. When I first started sewing, which is almost 9 years ago now, when I first learned to sew, I started with quilting, and my biggest fear was cutting the fabric. Oh my God. Because once you cut the fabric, that's it. You can't glue it back together. You can't, yeah, you can stitch it back together, but there's going to be a break in the pattern. Half the time, I remember my mom telling me, I was always at her elbow when she was at the sewing machine when I was growing up, and my mother lived at the sewing machine, and I was always in awe of her. You know, she'd cut once, she'd measure, she'd cut, she'd sew, it would be done. And I was just always thinking, okay, well, that's just how it's done. And then I started sewing myself, and I realized you can make mistakes, and what do you do with that fabric? You can hold on to it, but the point is, with knitting, if you make a mistake, you can just rip it out. All you do is just rip the stitches, pull your needle out, rip the stitches out, and then you cast back on again. Or you can pick up from where you ripped down to and just re-knit it. That's the beauty of knitting. You don't have to be afraid, really, if you make a mistake. I mean, there's very complicated patterns, lace patterns, and if you make a mistake, then I don't know. You have to run safety lines. It's a whole other thing. That's a whole other conversation. But with knitting, and even something as small as a mitten, you can honestly, you can just rip it out. That's the beauty of this. So don't be afraid. That's my message. Please don't be afraid to try this. It's summertime. Kids are on vacation. It's a whole different mindset for so many people. The weather is warm. You're at the beach. You're hiking. You're walking. You're outside. Take your mittens with you. Go sit by a lake. Sit by the river. Take it on your hike. Sit in the woods. You've got so many options. Sit at the beach. You've got so many options to just have quiet time or make quiet time. And I know that's not possible for everybody. I don't want to make a blanket statement, but there's ways to find the time to sit and do this. And you've got 2 months. Rachel and I will be here to hold your hand the entire time. Feel free to reach out to both of us if you've got questions, comments, you want somebody to celebrate with you your success. You want a shoulder to cry on if you make a mistake. That's what we're here to do. And we don't want this knit along to be pressure or to have any pressure on it at all. If you've got a whips are more than welcome. Poly dipping is welcome. If you are already knitting mittens for the year of the Mitten KAL, which Rachel is also hosting with Patricia, who is P4Chen on Instagram, and also Knitography on YouTube. If you're participating in that or any other Mitten KALs, any color work KALs, please feel free to dip into everything. I mean, we have no problem with that at all. And again, no pressure. If you do one pair and it takes you 2 months, then great. If the KAL's over and you're still knitting away and it's September, October, and you still finish, great. I know that I believe neither of us will be closing the chatter thread. So if you want to keep talking about mittens in that chatter thread, feel free. We may even start just an additional chatter thread when the KAL is over. If you want to continue talking about mittens, other mittens, feel free to do that. And one thing too that I wanted to point out is you're not locked into, or don't feel that you're locked into one particular weight of yarn. I've got 2 different patterns here in 2 different weights. I have a DK pattern, I have a fingering weight pattern. I also went on to Ravelry and I found worsted weight. There's also lace weight for the ambitious among you if you want to go that way. It's completely up to you. Your yarn choices, your patterns. Have fun with it. Have a great time with what you choose. The only requirement, if you want to call it that, and I don't, that even sounds like rules, but the only thing that we ask is that your mitten, whatever you choose, have a summery type theme. And that could be whatever it means to you. Just tell us why you've chosen that pattern. And as long as it's summery in some way, go for it. We will love it. We will have a great time. So again, I'm going to be including a little montage video here of some more patterns. I'm going to show you some now, but then I'm going to also include a little video of other pattern options that you can try, just giving you options, just some things you may not have seen or may not have noticed. I'm so excited about this. All I've been doing is looking at mitten patterns, so I definitely want to share those with you. So we'll do that video in just a little bit. So I'm going to gather some patterns to show you, and I will be right back. I've been chatting for a while, so let's talk more knitting. I'll be right back. I'm back. So let's talk patterns, you guys. The pattern that Rachel and I have chosen, I'm just going to hold up the first page, that Rachel and I have chosen to do together to kick the KAL off is this beauty. And I know that I mentioned it in the last episode, but I wanted to show it to you again. It's, oh my gosh, the Sweet Nectar Mitt, and this is by Tanis Lavallee of Tanis Fiber Arts, and it's just, I really can't get over how gorgeous that is. I cannot wait to cast this on. It's just look at that, and the beauty of this pattern. This is a DK weight pattern. So it's, if any of you have been knitting the Selbu mittens by Skeindeer knits, it's the same weight yarn. It's that DK weight. You might even be able to get away with a sport weight. And this particular pattern, what I love about it, and I know Rachel loved it too, is that the mittens are different. So you feel like you're knitting, I don't know, it's kind of just a mind game, really, but you don't feel like you're knitting the same mitten twice, the way you normally do, like second sock syndrome, and you have to knit the same sock again, or you're knitting the same mitten pattern again. But this one is, you've got two different patterns on each mitten. I mean, I can't get over how gorgeous that is. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. So this is a DK weight pattern. This is what we're going to kick off the KAL with. And I want to pause for just a moment to talk about yarn. Legacy Fiber Arts. We decided to reach out to Legacy Fiber Arts, which is run by Sue Stokes and Chelsea Zakorowitz. You can find them both on Instagram, and I will link to everything in the description bar. Excuse me, in the show notes down below, as always. We reached out to them about putting together some kits for the KAL, and they jumped at it. I mean, we could not have asked for a better response, a happier response, more enthusiastic response. I couldn't believe how quickly they got on board with this. We are so excited to have them doing this with us. And they already had two kits up, two Selbu mitten kits, which is kind of how they started their mitten kits, to go along with the Skeindeer knits patterns. And one is a beautiful green, it's called Emerald City, and there's another one, a beautiful purple, and all of these yarns are sort of tonal. The other purple one is Purple People Eater. Adorable names and gorgeous colors. Wait until you go and have a look at those. I know Rachel is doing Emerald City, and she's already wound up the yarn. Oh my god. I'm not a huge fan of green, but you gotta love this green. It's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's absolutely gorgeous. So that's what Rachel's doing, and I was talking to Sue. I wanted something a little more reddish, orangish kind of. I wanted those colors, and Sue gave me a thumbs up. She was on it, and look at what she came up with, you guys. Oh my gosh. Ta-da! Can you just look at these colors? Look at that red. Let's look at these one at a time. Oh my gosh, let's pull back a little so you get the full skein. Look at the gorgeousness in this skein. I really hope that you can see it. Let me just turn it here. Maybe if I block out my face. Look at that. It's just incredible. And of course, I am really not capturing the beauty. Here's like a red. It gets a little bit more red in here, and it's a little lighter here. Absolutely stunning. This colorway is Hot Tomato with an E on the end. Hot Tomato. It's just absolutely beautiful. And the contrasting color is this beautiful silvery gray. You see some darker gray in there. Oh my gosh, it's just gorgeous. And this colorway is called Silver Lining. You know what, I've got my window open. Maybe if I put it over here, it's a little, doesn't look as blown out. And this colorway is called Silver Lining. So you have Silver Lining and Hot Tomato. So this kit was dyed up and sent to me right away. I cannot wait. It is taking every ounce of restraint and willpower that I have not to cast this on right now. I think I'm definitely going to wind it up and do a little swatch just to be sure I've got the right needle size so I don't waste any time. I want to jump right in on June 1st. But this is another colorway. There are, I think, 2 or 3 other colorways. They just talked about another one that they've just put up on the website called Pucker, and it's a gorgeous, I don't want to say hot pink, but it's got some tones like my t-shirt, really rich, vibrant pinks. There's even like little dots of purple in there. It's stunning. It's called Pucker, so go and have a look at those. I know that there's also a I think there's a Lily P colorway. I will have all of them listed below and links below, but you've got to go and take a look. And I just think these, so let's look at that together. Oh my gosh, can you stand it? I can't. I cannot wait to see this pattern in this yarn. Wow. So go and have a look at the yarn. This is going to be incredible. So I'm going to reluctantly put that down for now. Another pattern that, and the yarn requirements, let's just go back to that for a second. The yarn requirements for this is, I believe, about 200 yards of each color. Yeah, approximately 200 yards, roughly. I mean, just to give yourself a cushion of each color. And I know that these skeins are 245, so you've got plenty. Even if you do a larger size, is this one size? I'll tell you that in one. Yep, it's one size. The pattern is done in one size. It says one size fits most. Yeah, so you've got more than enough yarn here for the mittens. So go and have a look at those. Now, another pattern that I'm looking at, and again, we'll just do the first page. I first saw this pattern going around at the Edinburgh Yarn Festival, which was earlier this year, and I saw it and fell so madly in love with it. And to me, it says summer, it says summer nights. I may even knit these together. I may cast them both on because I just love this pattern so, so much. And here it is. This is called the Moonlight Traveler Mittens. Can you see that? I'm just going to block out my face here. Look at how incredibly beautiful. You've got this gorgeous moth or butterfly pattern in here. I believe it's a moth pattern with the moon up at the top. It's just stunning. And I know, you know, sitting out on our back deck in the evenings and the moths buzzing around the lights, I mean, this is screaming summer nights to me, and I can't wait to start this. I'm actually going to be using a yarn called Elemental Effects. Let me grab a skein and I'll be right back. Here I am. The name of the yarn is Elemental Effects. It is a Shetland, an American, you know what, let's pull this out so I don't say it wrong. It is Shetland Fingering. It's a U.S. company. It's company is here in the United States, and these are the colors that I'm thinking of doing. It is absolutely beautiful. It is woolen spun. Oh my gosh, it's not the softest yarn, but I love that. It's toothy and beautiful, and I just think Let me hold it this way. I just think that these colors will be absolutely perfect. I may go darker. I haven't quite decided yet, but I'm definitely using this cream color. I just have to kind of think about what I want to do for the contrasting color. But I will be using this yarn, and this is a fingering weight yarn. The pattern is fingering. Just check the yarn over there. The pattern is a fingering weight, requires fingering weight yarn, and that's fine for me. That I don't find that intimidating. It has the Latvian braid, which I absolutely love. I believe there's two Latvian braids in here, and I do have a demonstration on how to do the Latvian braids in the mitten tutorial. Love that pattern so very much. Now, a third pattern that I was thinking about, oh, I'm sorry, wait, let's go back. This particular, the Moonlight Traveler pattern is by, okay, let's try this, Nina Pommerenke. I know I'm saying that, it's horrible. I believe it's a Norwegian name. I know I'm ruining it. I apologize, but there is the name. And again, everything will be linked down below for you. So if you are interested in this pattern, you can go and check that out. And the other pattern that I'm looking at possibly is called Gurli. And this particular pattern has two options. It has a full mitten pattern and a hand warm, full mitten option and a hand warmer option, and I loved that idea. As you can see, it is a gorgeous butterfly pattern, so you have half the butterfly on each mitten. It's a little bit smaller, it's a little less knitting. It does require this is fingering weight also. It's actually a really tight, relatively tight gauge. It's about 35 stitches to over 4 inches. So what is that, almost 7 3/4, so almost 8. And it's just, I think that's so beautiful. A butterfly just fluttering around the flowers. Absolutely love this. And I would still use the elemental effects for this pattern as well. And I have a really beautiful kind of burgundy color, so I might go with that. So this is another option, and I may still knit this anyway. If I can, like I said, if I can fit it in with within the KAL dates, then great. But this is another pattern that I'm looking at, and this one is designed by Jenny Alderbrandt, and this is also available on Ravelry, link down below. So yeah, those are the 3 patterns that I'm looking at. The Sweet Nectar mitts Rachel and I will be doing together, and I even found, because I'm really annoying like that, but I had to find stitch markers or little charms to make progress keepers. And funny enough, I was in Barbados, which is where my family is from. We were there last summer for a wedding, and the hotel where we were staying is sort of part of a little complex, and across the street there's a market, etc., and a juice bar, and I'm just kind of wandering around, and there is a bead shop. What are the chances of there being a bead shop right across the street, first of all on the island period, and right across the street from our hotel? And I found these little beads. Let's see if you can see that. Can you see that? That is a little hibiscus that I found that I think is absolutely beautiful. And then I found this little one, which is a hummingbird. Can you see that? So I have my little hummingbird and my little hibiscus. You know what, where can I put, maybe against my shirt so you can see them. Little hummingbird, a little hibiscus, which is the pattern on the mitten. It's, you know what, didn't plan it. I bought these last year, long before there was even a thought of a knit along. But I remembered having these, and I ran for my charm stash, which is quite substantial and sitting in the corner over there. And I was so excited to see these. I can't wait to turn these into progress keepers. And there you go. Denise being really nerdy and obsessive about her everything being matchy-matchy. So yeah, that is basically it. So I am going to insert a video here for you to talk about some more mitten patterns, and I'll be back with you in just a minute. So one thing that we're going to, oh wait, let me go back and mention one other thing first. The Elemental Effects yarn. This yarn I purchased at Knitty City, which is in Manhattan here in New York. So you can have a look at this. There is also, and again, I'll link down to Knitty City down below, and I'll also link to the Elemental Effects website so you can see the colors. Knitty City has quite a lot of this yarn, and again, it is just, it's so beautiful. It's very toothy. You can see the little fibers sort of going in multiple directions, and that's the really the kind of yarn that you want for color work. These other smoother yarns, they will work just as well. There's really no rules. It's just giving you more options. And you can also purchase if you want Norwegian wool for any of these patterns. The Wooly Thistle is based in Chicago, and I had a viewer a couple of episodes ago when I talked about these Selbu mittens and using the Norwegian yarn and the difference between the authentic Norwegian yarn and other yarns, and I was going on and on about, you know, ordering all this Rama Fullingarn and Strickagarn, and the viewer made a comment which was then taken down by the viewer before I even had a chance to comment, and I felt really bad about it, and it bugged me a little because I didn't get a chance to reply to him or her. These yarns, the Wooly Thistle and the Elemental Effects, Legacy Fiber Arts, these are all US based companies. The Wooly Thistle orders the yarn from overseas, from Norway. They do the importing, they absorb all of those import costs, and you are just paying for the yarn. The yarn is about, I know the Fullingarn and the Strickagarn is in the neighborhood of about $7.50, $8 a ball. You only need one of each color to complete a pair, depending on how elaborate your mittens are. And the person's comment was, we can't all afford to buy all of these yarns from around the world. And I felt really bad about that. I don't have any more or less money than anyone else. I do like more traditional yarns. I am very willing to spend money on yarn, a good amount of money on yarn, but these particular yarns are very, in my world, they are affordable to me, and I'm not paying astronomical international shipping, excuse me, international shipping to bring these yarns, to get these yarns in my hands. So for any of you that may have concerns about the price points on any of these, I'm trying to give you options, as many options as I can. And I know, for even for example, this yarn, I'm hoping there's still a price tag on here. This yarn is $6.50 a ball, and you get $6.50 a ball. You're getting, it is fingering weight. You're getting, it's approximately 28 grams and about 118. The label's turned back, but it's about 118 yards in one of these. So you may need one if you're doing more of a fingerless mitt. You may need two, but again, this is an even lower price point. And I just wanted to talk about that for a minute because I know that's a concern. It's a very valid concern for many people. And again, just to address the viewer, if she or he is still watching, I do understand financial restraints and constraints and concerns. So if you're looking for a particular yarn, you can also do swaps, exchanges. There are a lot of people on Ravelry that will trade or sell yarn, are willing to do a trade or to sell yarn at a slightly lower price point. So definitely go and check that out. You don't have to order from these stores. But again, if you are ordering and you'd like to order, they are all US based. So the shipping, I think, is a little bit more manageable. You're not paying, you know, $20, $30 to import this yarn. So I just wanted to mention that, and I've wanted to say that for a while, and I'm very glad that I just remembered to do that. Yeah, now I forgot which way I was going with what else I was going to say, but okay, I'll be right back. So very important regarding the KAL also, on June 1st, which is next week Friday, at about 10 o'clock Rachel and I are going to be on Instagram Live, and we're going to be talking about the KAL. We're going to kick off the KAL. We're going to have some knitting to show you and lots of information. Some of it you may have already heard, some of it may be new to you, but please tune in for that on June 1st, Friday, June 1st at 10 a.m. We are so excited about that. And I've never done Instagram Live, so while I am excited, I'm also just slightly terrified. I've watched live things before on Instagram and on Periscope, and the fever pitch of the interaction, the speed of the interaction is a little intimidating for me. I like this venue where I can just chat and pause and chat and pause, and then people can interact after. I'm comfortable with that. So Rachel is pulling me completely out of my comfort zone. So we'll see how that goes. But please tune in for that. And we are going to try to get that Insta story, the live Insta story on YouTube. I'm not quite sure how all of the technical stuff works yet, but we are going to try to get that on YouTube for any of you that miss it. And if that's not possible, we're also going to try at some point, I don't know if right when the KAL kicks off or maybe at the midpoint, we are going to try to do a joint podcast. So that's going to be really fun, sort of a split screen podcast. I know that Legacy Fiber Arts does that, and the Periscoping Sisters does that also. So stay tuned for more info and Rachel and I talking to you all together. So one other thing that I do want to mention, and I do have a finished object to share with you, so I'm just checking the time. I have to go get my son from school. One thing that I do want to talk to you about are mitten blockers. My mitten blockers all came in, you guys. I don't know if you remember, but I was using foam blockers. Hold on, let me go grab those. Okay, I just found them. For some reason, I can't, the thumb inserts seem to have gone missing. But if you remember, I was using these that I made for myself. I found a pattern on Pinterest, which of course I will link for you down below. And it gave me the template, and I cut these out of foam. It's maybe, I don't know, it's a little less than a 1/4 inch thickness foam placemats. That's what I cut these out of. So the back is white. I don't even remember what this pattern was, but I cut these myself, and then they also give you the little thumb insert. I'm so sorry, I cannot, they are kind of MIA in the drawer right now, but there was also a thumb insert. So you just slide these on and then you pop your thumb in. So I cut these out myself, highly functional. They're great, very inexpensive. If, again, you know, it's a price point issue with ordering actual blockers, but now, so I've used these faithfully, but then I decided to treat myself, to treat yourself. And my mitten blockers came in, you know, I gotta pop this off because you gotta see both. Here they are. I ordered them from Patricia from Norway. And look at these, you guys. Look at these absolute beauties. Oh my gosh. Let's turn them this way. They are, and it came with a little, she threw in a little mitten brooch for me, which I have clipped right on here. There's no way I'm wearing this on anything, any project bag. I don't want to lose it. But these mitten blockers are made from cedar trees that grow on Patricia's farm in Norway. And she has handcrafted all of these. They're all done by hand. They are smoothed and treated with her bee butter that is lovingly rubbed into all of these. I can't even begin to tell you how incredible they smell. And when you open the packaging, the smell of the bee butter and the beeswax just wafts up in your face. It's, oh my gosh, it's magic. But they're here. They are so smooth. The quality on these is just absolutely incredible. It's incredible. They come with the little twine so that you can just hang them up. I mean, look at these. Even the little clinking sound. I love wooden wind chimes. I've always loved wooden wind chimes. They're very hard to find, but I absolutely love them. And these, the sound of these reminds me of that so much. I'm really speechless. And a lot of the proceeds for this are going toward a really personal goal that Patricia has for her farm. And I'm not going to go into that here. I recommend you have a have a look at her podcast to get the backstory on that. But I'm so happy to have these. You have no idea. They are stunning. And I have been keeping them on a little hook right here. So they're hanging in this space. I love them. And I really feel privileged to have a pair of these that were made by her hand. And I'm just going to show you my finished object. Hold on, let's slide this baby on. And I'm going to put one on the blocker and one not so you can see them. My mittens are done, you guys. I have re-knit. There they are. Oh my gosh, they are done. My Flora mittens by Skeindeer Knits are done. Here they are. How is it possible to get emotional about knitting? I don't know, but I do get emotional about knitting. And look at this, guys. I have a left and a right. Didn't make that. You only make mistakes like that, hopefully, one time. You're going to definitely check your patterns. So here they are. They are done. This one, like I said, is on the blocker. Look at how it's gorgeous. The fit, it fits perfectly on here. I haven't blocked them yet. They're on the blockers more for show right now, but I haven't actually blocked them yet. But here they are. Look at that. Just, oh my gosh. Here, let's just hold this down so you can see. Ugh, I'm so proud of these. They are done. The fit is just amazing. And I don't know if any of you remembered, I talked about when I knit, this is the original left that I knit. This one I knit left by mistake, and it was so much bigger. So when I knit it the second time, it was cooler outside. The temperatures had dropped back down a little bit, and they are the same size. They're beautiful. I love them so much. So again, this pattern is Flora Mittens by Skeindeer Knits. The link will be down below. I love them. These were knit in Rama Strickagarn, which I purchased at the Wooly Thistle, and I couldn't love them anymore. I really couldn't. And they're Selbu mittens designed by a Norwegian. The yarn is Norwegian, and they are on my beautiful Norwegian blockers. This just means so very much to me. It really, really does. I have had the pleasure of meeting Patricia. She's incredible. And I'm so, so happy to have these. So here's my finished object. And I just want to show you one other set of mitten blockers. I'm going to go grab those and I'll be right back. I mentioned, I believe almost 2 episodes ago, that I had ordered blockers from Burning Impressions. The first time I ever heard of them or saw anything by them was on Instagram, and my blockers have arrived. Here they are. Absolutely stunning. As you can see, they have a detachable, I'm going to hold one because this is a little clumsy. The thumb is detachable here. It kind of fits in a little slot right there. And aren't these just incredible? Here is a little hole so that I can put a piece of twine in there and hang these. And I love them. I couldn't love these anymore. Again, the quality, they are butter soft. They're smooth. There isn't a rough edge anywhere. They're just beautifully made. I love that this thumb is detachable, so you can slip this right into your mitten. If you have a mitten that has a thumb, not the thumb in the front, but the thumb out to the side. I know there's a word for that, which is escaping me right now. But you just pop this in first, and then you just slide the thumb in after, so you don't completely stretch out your mitten. I love this option. It makes so much sense. This is the medium size. I love the snowflakes. Can you see the detail on these snowflakes? Just unbelievably incredible. I'm so happy to have these. So now I've got these 2 incredible sets of blockers. They are going to be hanging back here. I've actually asked my husband to put up some pegboard for me in this space so I can actually have blockers hanging there and a couple of other tools and things like that. So he's hopefully going to put that up for me in the next week or so. But these will definitely be hanging there. They're the first things I see in the morning. They just make me so happy. So if you have the means to purchase these, you will not be disappointed at all. They will definitely be worth your money. And if you are an avid mitten knitter, you will use these for many, many pairs and years to come. So again, here is just craftsmanship at its best. Oh my goodness. And again, love these too. And believe me, I will still use these because there is no way I'm putting a wet mitten on these. I will, maybe a slightly damp mitten. I still have these as my option. Again, highly functional. They're great. And I will link to these down below as well. So you know what? I had a pair of socks, but I think I'm going to save those for another episode. I really wanted to get in as much about the Mitten KAL as I can. I'm going to go and check my notes one more time, and I will see you again in just a second. So before I close out this episode, I was going to share a finished object and then decided, nah, I'll wait until my next episode, but I decided to just share it with you now. So because I love them so much, I finished another pair of socks. My May socks are done. Here they are. All done, you guys. And I just realized, again, not planned, that they match my shirt perfectly. You really can't plan this stuff. I mean, I guess you can, but my life is not that organized. But anyway, here are the socks. Aren't they beautiful? These are Cherry Blossom is the name of this colorway. It is by the Christina, who's the cozy knitter. And here it is. Beautiful vanilla socks. You know me and my stripes, everything's matching. I just love them. I love them so much. Super, super easy, high sharps, 2.25, 64 stitches. It came with this gorgeous contrasting heel, cuffs, heels, and toes, which matches the stripe in here. And there you have it. My May socks are done and off the needles. Again, they match perfectly. Let's hold these back a little bit so you can see them a little more. I just love them. So yeah, socks are always, as you all know by now, if you've been watching the podcast, I always have socks on the needles. I do have a scrappy sock on the needles right now, but that's in another room. And I'm being lazy. Those I will show you in the next episode. So yeah, these, again, it's Cherry Blossom colorway. I will link everything down below. And it's by the Cozy Knitter. I absolutely love them. I think they're beautiful. Part of me almost wishes it was still cool outside so I could wear these. And I'm going to insert a picture here. I wanted to finish them so badly before the cherry blossom trees lost all of their blossoms, but I didn't get a chance to do that. But I did, just before I started, I did get a picture. I was holding the stripy ball and the contrasting ball up against the flowers, and you could really see how much they match. So I will insert a picture of that for you right here. And that's it, you guys. Don't really have anything else I mean, I could talk forever about everything and nothing. But I think that's all I have for you regarding knitting and the Mitten KAL for today. I really wanted to get another episode in, and that's about it. If you all have any questions, comments, again, please feel free to leave a comment below. Please feel free to email me. I try to make myself as available as possible. I'm still getting used to and getting the hang of the Ravelry group, but I think I'm getting there. So please, again, just leave a message. Let me know what you're thinking, feeling, working on. If you have any questions about the KAL, let me know. You can also reach out to Rachel. And thank you all so very much for joining me today. You all are the best. This is great. I'm just so happy to have this space and time, and it just makes me really happy. Okay, I will stop being sentimental and going on and on and on. Hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye, my friends. Go.
Oh, Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Sun.